So to give us a little bit more of our truth today, let's bring up the amazing Mr. Dr. soon-to-be, Reverend Jay Willick.
Thank you. Okay, I'm still tearing from that song. Wow. Thank you, guys. That was just fabulous. Hi, everyone. How are you? All good? Everybody got their card? I'm going to start in on the card before I start crying. So this is a beautiful idea, a beautiful statement written by Reverend James. I'll say it first, and then let's say it all together. And then I want to talk about a little bit getting deeper, because that's what I've been doing as well. So Reverend James says, I drop into the depths of my greatness. That's great. Together. I drop into the depths of my greatness. One more time. I drop into the depths of my greatness. Into the depths of my greatness. So since I'm a reverend, I get to do a power talk. It's one of the two privileges. No, kidding. I have a talk title called Spiritual Heckling that I'm going to do sometime, and I will be sure to include that. So my talk title today is called Turn On, Tune In, Drop Out. Anybody remember that phrase if you're over 30? It used to be if you're over 30, it didn't matter anymore, but we're all over 30 in some ways, aren't we? So turn on, tune in, drop out. Now that was a term coined by Dr. Timothy Leary to describe the psychedelic experiences that he was doing in his experimentations with LSD in the 60s. And he wrote a book called Flashbacks, of course, and in it he writes this, and this is what's really important about turn on, tune in, drop out. Turn on meant go within to activate your neural and genetic equipment. Become sensitive to the many and various levels of consciousness and the specific triggers that engage them. Drugs were one way to accomplish this end. Spiritual center, meditation, and other modalities are another way. Tune in meant interact harmoniously with the world around you, externalize, materialize, express your new internal perspectives. Drop out suggested an elective, selective, graceful process of detachment from involuntary or unconscious commitments to things like lack, dis-ease, I don't belong, I'm not good enough, and all that other junk. Dropout meant self-reliance, a discovery of one's singularity, a commitment to mobility, choice, and change. Unhappily, my explanations of this sequence of personal development were often misinterpreted to mean get stoned and abandon all constructive activity. No, what he meant is what we're all doing this month, going deeper. And this is so perfect because this is happening to me. In a talk I saw a couple of weeks ago, in a week-long minister's educational conference that I attended to was all about that, going deeper. And it's part of our vision statement. The third one, remember that? Be right here if the banner was here. It's out on the marquee, so when they're done with Spring Awakening, the banner will come back. Remember who you are. Now, the interesting thing about remember who you are, and this is the way I've used it, we use it to empower ourselves to know that there's this power for us to use to bring whatever experiences we want in our life. And that's great. But the New Thought movement has had a negative connotation because it's all about getting things, they say. That's because they don't know or they've misinterpreted. It's about quantifying our lives. Now, you can quantify your life with something as mundane, you may say, as getting a parking space, which we're very known for. And on the other end of the spectrum, peace on earth. So somewhere in between, we're trying to quantify our lives using, remember, who we are, who you are, in treatment or other such work, other such affirmative prayer. But we are also a religion, a philosophy of quality. And by quality, I mean to remind you that the book that this philosophy was started on, which I read somewhere that Dr. Holmes once said, "Oh, that old thing?" The original title of that was The Science of Mind, which we all use a lot. That's what we use to bring things into our lives. And spirit. And what I'm asking all of us to do, and what Reverend James is asking all of us to do this month, is to dig deeper and to, what I heard this great phrase 2 weeks ago, court the divine. Not to get something, but to be something. To sit in joy. Not just happy event to happy event to happy event that add up to saying I have a happy life or not saying I have a happy life, but joy that goes beyond having this happy event and that happy event. I'm asking us to plug into that source. Like the song before I stepped up here. Songs like that, now, many talented people there creating that song, beautiful words in that song. But if you close your eyes and you just let it wash over you, and I know many of you did, what shows up? Dare I say the word? God. So court the divine, plug into source, step in to that feeling that you have when you're standing at the Grand Canyon, when you're at the Great Pyramid, when you're seeing a baby for the first time crawl across the room. Or if you look, is Buddy here today? If you look into Buddy the puppy's eyes, what happens? Awe. Get yourself some awe. Yeah, go and treat and get things that you want, the new car, the better relationship, the newer job, the exciting this and that. Sure, go ahead and do that. But the first 2 steps in treatment, which is the affirmative prayer that we use in this philosophy, is recognizing and unifying yourself with Source. And that's where you go deeper. So join me in knowing that this deepness, this power that we call God, we call divine intelligence. Emma Curtis Hopkins has like 99 different words for spirit and source. Let's know that we dig in and we join with it. We enjoin. And we allow it to be a part of us every day, every moment, every time a thought goes through our heads. We sit in the joy of courting the divine within, knowing that God is there, knowing that any time, whether it's chaos or cosmos occurring in our lives, we are constantly backed by this beauty, this love, this joy, this wisdom, this light. And that we move forward through anything, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, with that joyous power. And our heart swells. And we live in this awe at all times, so that no matter what shows up, we can face it with that power and that light of the divine. I declare that each and every one of us now embodies that even more than was done before. Digs deeper, delves into, and becomes at each waking moment, each step I take, delving deeper into spirit, into who each and every one of us is. And with that, I step into this greatness and I step into this wonderfulness with a gratitude, knowing that it's already there, and my recognition of it for each and every one of us makes it so, makes it deeper, makes it ever present. And join me in releasing this word that I have said, that you have run through your brain, through your mind, through your heart and soul and gut. And let it fly as each and every one of us turn on, tune in, drop out, and plug in to the source of all. Blessings to you all. And so it is. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.
So Reverend Jay just did something very brilliant.